You have questions, we have answers. The Center for Career and Professional Development sits down to answer your questions regarding everything internships and how the recent pandemic has affected the workplace. Join us now for an in-depth discussion with your host, Nicole Bruzik.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Here at the Center for Career and Professional Development, we strive to assist students and alumni from all areas and majors at Sacred Heart University. My name is Nicole Bruzik, and I am the Career Development's Graduate Assistant for this upcoming academic year. Networking events, employer on-campus interviewing, job search skills, resume writing, and assistance finding internships are just some of the services that we offer. I know personally, I would not have gained and succeeded in my internships throughout undergrad without the help from this department. Today we will focus on the topic of internships. Although we have seen some changes in the way internships are offered over the past few months, we have also seen opportunity. Many of you have reached out to us with questions about internship opportunities and if companies are hiring. Today's session will hopefully answer some of those frequently asked questions. And now, an introduction of our panelists. Keith, would you like to start?
Absolutely. I'm Keith Hassel. I'm the Executive Director, and I work specifically with our education, nonprofit, and human services communities.
Now, Annie?
And I'm Annie Superdini, one of the directors here at the Career Center, and I work specifically with our accounting, finance, business, and analytics community, as well as HR, sales and operations, and STEM and research.
Now we have Corey.
Hi, I'm Corey Stokes. I'm the Associate Director for Career Student Engagement, and I work with the communities of marketing, PR, and fashion, art, media, sports, and entertainment, as well as our exploratory pioneers.
Last but not least, we have Patty.
Hi, I'm Patty Moran. I'm one of the directors here in the Career Center, and I oversee the STEM and research career community in addition to government, public administration, and law, and last but not least, public health and healthcare.
To start us off today, our first question will be, what exactly is a career community? Patty, did you want to answer that for us?
So, we decided as a department this summer to explore the idea of transitioning from major-specific to industry-specific career coaching. So with that, when we transitioned, we identified the type of interests that our students have, and we clustered them into specific clusters of industries that tend to jive well together. So we are now introducing our career communities. As part of that initiative, on our new website called ShoeConnect, we allow students to explore relevant resources, pertinent articles. They're able to have a community network of faculty and alumni willing to support their efforts, in addition to being able to identify which career coaches are for which career community. And we do believe that it will make the internship search process specifically a lot easier for our students.
Definitely. Thanks for that answer. Next up, we have Keith answering, I want to search for an internship for the fall, spring, or summer term. Is anyone even hiring?
Nicole, that's a great question, and we've received a lot of inquiries from families and students asking the same thing. With so much uncertainty in the world today, one thing that we do want to let students know is that there are still internships that are hiring. Although the hiring process and the format of the internships look different, where we've seen a lot more remote or virtual type of opportunities, we're also looking at it as a way where we're expanding the amount of opportunities. So it's possible for you to do an internship with a company that's based out of California or Florida or Texas. So if anything, we're actually leveraging this to be used to our advantage. But absolutely, there's still internships that are out there, and there's employers that are hiring.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to intern, but I feel uncomfortable performing one in person. Corey, are there any other options?
Yes, that's a great question, and we completely understand the students' concerns with doing in-person internships, and we have so many resources prepared for you. So if you go to our website, ShoeConnect, we have an entire page labeled COVID-19 that has so many resources for our students, including websites that will bring you to virtual internships, micro internships, and remote projects. Some of those websites are called Inside Sherpa, Parker Dewey, virtualinternships.com. So we have so many websites available for you. In addition, on Handshake, which is the platform that we use to post internships and jobs, we have over 200 remote internships on there right now. So if you go onto Handshake and you're doing an internship search, you can type right in the search bar remote, and all those remote positions will come up. And honestly, don't forget about the power of networking. If there's a certain company that you know have had interns before and they're not really listing any remote internships, feel free to reach out and ask if they would consider taking on a remote intern.
Perfect. Thanks for that answer, Corey. Our next question is, are there other ways to explore career paths and gain professional knowledge and or experience without interning? Annie, did you want to start us off with that question?
Sure, and absolutely. If you don't have the opportunity to intern, absolutely use this as a time to continue to self-educate yourself. Take advantage of the online webinars to learn new skills. Reach out to your network too. This is a really great time to obtain informational interviews, and that also might even lead to a connection that might help you in the future. Be really proactive too. Reach out to your faculty to see if you can assist them maybe with a project, a problem-based learning opportunity, and take the time as well to explore online certifications, which will also help add to your resume. Learn a new language, and even volunteer.
Perfect. Thank you. Patty, is there anything that you'd like to add to that?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're not quite ready to intern yet, we always encourage our students to take advantage of our specialty programming. And two things in particular that we like to shout from the rooftops is that we offer an alumni job shadow program, and we also offer an alumni mentor program, which we refer to as MVP. What's great about these programs is it allows you to explore a career path or an industry of interest without having to do a full internship. So you can discuss your options, your skill sets with an alumni, bounce ideas off of them. This particular semester it's going to look a little different, so our job shadow program will be virtual, and Corey runs that program. And then in addition to that, our next MVP cycle is scheduled for spring of 2021, and that will be virtual as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Keith, can you touch upon if I can still receive academic credit if the internship is paid? And is it okay to take an unpaid internship?
Absolutely. Great question. So ideally, we would love if internships are all paid. However, unfortunately, they're not. They aren't all. If you are looking to get academic credit, it is important to communicate with your academic advisor because they give the final approval as to if you are eligible to receive that credit. There are certain things like certain number of hours, requirements, etc. So it's always good to verify with them first. Now, in regards to the type of opportunity, it can be paid or unpaid, and we would encourage all students to visit our website. So you can sacredheart.edu/career and click on our job and internship tab. Under there, you'll find more guidelines as to what's an appropriate internship and what meets the requirements set forth by the Department of Labor.
Thank you for answering that question. Next, we have talking about the necessary steps in order to land an internship. There are 4 steps, and the first step is about before you start. Corey, can you start us off with that?
Yes, absolutely. So we always tell students before they even consider applying to internships to make sure your resume is approved by your career coach. Resumes are your first impression for companies, so they are extremely important. And keep in mind that about 75% of applicants will be removed from the applicant pool for a position based on their resume alone. So it's a very important document. And be sure to have your career coach help you, create it, edit it. And, we like to say you want to have it close to complete because as you're doing your search for internships, you're going to want to tailor your resume a tiny bit to each position. As you read through job descriptions, see if you can notice any keywords or industry language that you may want to also mirror in your resume. Sometimes larger companies use software that scan resumes, and if you're not using the same words or language that they're using in their documents, they won't even take a look at your resume. So it's really important to have a resume that is close to perfect. Once you have your resume good to go, we recommend uploading it to both Handshake and LinkedIn, and also making sure both of your profiles on those platforms are complete as well. You want to have a professional photo and all your experience listed there. It's very important to also make sure that your Handshake profile is not set to private, because if it is, no employer will be able to find mind is. So that is key. We also have a great cover letter guide. Keep in mind, not every internship will require a cover letter, but if you do need to write one, please use our guide and feel free to send it to your career coach before you submit it, and they would be happy to review it. And honestly, just be sure that you are able to articulate your skills, your interests, your values, both in your documents, the resume and cover letter, because that way, the internship will, whoever is reading the applications for the internship, they'll be able to see if you'll be a good fit.
Awesome, thank you. The second step that Keith is going to talk about is about proper timing and communication.
Absolutely. The key thing to remember with timing is to start early. So for instance, if you were going to be doing an internship for the fall semester, so let's say starting in August or September, you should start applying to those opportunities by the end of spring semester, beginning of summer. Give yourself plenty of time to actually apply to the opportunities, your interview process, etc. It's not something that will just happen overnight. Now, again, keep in mind, if you are looking to do an academic credit-based internship, you must speak with your academic advisor. Find out those requirements that are set forth. That way, when you're communicating with the employers, you already know what are the expectations. But again, main thing is to start early, and if you need any assistance, always feel free to contact our office and we can walk you through the process.
The third tip that we have is all about the search tips, and Patty's going to touch upon this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big hot topic for us, and there's so many different strategies to searching for internships, so we'll just touch on a few. First and foremost, you have to really understand what your skill set is, what your interests are, and the types of environments that you're going to thrive in. And so if you need assistance with that, we're here for you to bounce ideas off. We want to make sure that, if you were to enter a talent show and you were to get on stage, you wouldn't necessarily get on that stage without knowing what your talents are and just performing on a whim. So we want you to treat the internship search process similar. So one thing that we do with our students often is we have them develop an Excel spreadsheet, and on the Excel list they will have the name of the employer, the location, the link to the internship program, the name of the internship, and of course the deadlines. In addition to that, we also ask them to save all of the internship descriptions so that if they do get an interview later on and the internship is no longer posted on the website, they have something to access to really prep them for that interview. And of course, when they're doing their follow-up emails, we want to make sure that those are robust emails that have content specific to that position. So the Excel document is great. In addition to that information on there, we want you to have 2 viable contacts to follow up with after you formally apply. That could be an alumni, it could be a hiring manager, it could be an internship coordinator. Sometimes that is hard to figure out and identify, and that's what we're here for, and your faculty are here for, to identify those contacts. We don't advise that you reach out to both at the same time. We advise that you start with one, wait a couple days, if you don't hear back, go to your second contact. So we find it to be a very successful process. But in addition to that, we have a resource called What Can I Do with This Major? It's on our website under the Discover You tab. And this is a wonderful resource. We use it quite often, and our faculty tend to gravitate towards this particular website. And what's neat about it is, even though we're trying not to be major specific in this conversation, this particular link is very fruitful. So it has a list of areas of interest within that particular major that you might want to explore, the types of companies you can work for, keywords you can search when you're searching for your internship, popular job titles. There's a website links to different job sites and internship sites and professional associations, which we'll touch on later on in the conversation. So those are 2 big hitters for us. And of course, I have to mention, if you do have a target list of organizations that you are targeting for an internship, we want you to follow them on LinkedIn, and we also want you to favor them on Handshake as well. So that's really important to note. And then last but not least, we have to plug the career community page one last time, probably not the last time, and because when you subscribe to career communities, it allows you to receive notifications when the career community manager posts a hot internship that is, live and current. So that's another resource for you.
Perfect. That was awesome advice, Patty. And the last step in landing your internship is all about incorporating your network. Annie, can you talk about that for us?
Absolutely. So we cannot stress this enough in our office, especially right now, is the power of networking. It's so important to network because you just never know who might be able to help you. And more importantly, you never know who people know. Over 85% of people who secure a job or internship have done that from networking. Use LinkedIn to your advantage. Connect with Sacred Heart alumni, and keep in mind that people often do want to help, especially when it comes to alums. Get to know your faculty really well because they might be able to connect you with somebody to help you as well. And network with your family and friends. Let the world know that you are searching for an internship. A great way to practice your networking is to come to our career fair, just to give a little plug. We are offering a virtual career fair this October. It'll be on October 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we hope to see you there. You can register for that on Handshake. And then more importantly too, once you have the interview, you need to practice. Make an appointment with your career coach in our office to do a mock interview. You can sit down with them and run through, real life interview questions so that you can feel prepared and confident before your interview. If you can't make an appointment with our office, we also do have a service called Big Interview that we subscribe to. Every Sacred Heart student does have access to that. And it's a really great resource for you to, in the comfort of your own home, be able to record yourself answering interview questions so that you can play back, listen to them. It can be a little bit awkward, but we really do stress that practice makes perfect. And we're here to help you when that big day comes.
Perfect, thank you. The next question that we have is, how can I find ways to stand out when actually applying for an internship? Corey, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to. Yes, it's very important to stand out when you're applying because you're going to be competing against a lot of other applicants. So one way that I recommend to stand out is just to do your research on both the position and the company that you are applying to, and show that you did that research in both your resume and cover letter, and any targeted emails that you may send to follow up after you submit your application. Like Patty and Annie both mentioned, networking is so important. So hop onto LinkedIn, see if there are any alumni working at that company that you can connect with. I would never say message them asking them, oh, can you help me get this internship? Instead, ask for some advice. Ask them, how did you get started at this company? Or ask them, do you have any advice for me to help me bring my resume to the top of the pile? Because when you ask for advice, you get a job, but if you ask for a job, you're going to get advice. So never ask for a job. And when you do follow up emails through LinkedIn, just be sure to prove your worth too. You never just want to blindly be like, how's my application doing? Did you receive it? Instead, think about what you could add to this position. Do you have a new idea that you would like to implement if you were given the opportunity for this internship? Do you have experience in already what they're looking for? So just prove your worth in your follow-up messaging.
Perfect, thank you. And the next question that we have going off of that for Annie is, I've been applying everywhere, but no one is getting back to me. Do you have any advice?
Sure. We get this a lot. And first things first, what I want to say is don't get discouraged. Unfortunately, sometimes it does happen when you apply to an internship and you just don't hear back. One thing I do like to mention is don't just post and hope. And what I mean by that is to be proactive. Once you've actually applied to that internship, find somebody to follow up with. If you don't know how to do that, we are here to help you do that. But typically that's through LinkedIn, through our office. Again, we are full of contacts, and hopefully we have one to provide you with. And then sort of like Corey had said, be mindful when you're following up. You do want to be respectful of people's time. So if you've already followed up once and you haven't heard back, maybe it's appropriate to follow up a second time, but maybe it might be time to move on. But also keep in mind, especially right now, a lot of employers might not be able to give you an answer because some internship programs are very much up in the air at the moment.
Perfect, thank you for that answer, Annie. Going into our next question for Keith, we have what are the best internship search engines to use within my own career community?
Nicole, that's a great question. And the key thing to remember about that is that just like with everything else, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket. So don't rely on one specific job search engine. Of course, we always say the number one job search site for our office that we encourage is Handshake. So Handshake is our own job portal that we have here on campus, and it houses over 500,000 jobs and internships across the nation. So it's a great place to start, especially if you're looking for an internship that may be, spending the summer with grandma in Florida, or you may be leaving the Connecticut area. Additionally, LinkedIn is a great resource. Glassdoor, there's internships.com. But what I would encourage all students to do is to, after this, make sure to go to our website, sacredheart.edu/career. Check out the career communities. Each of us will be updating blogs with recommendations that are specific to that industry, along with recommended jobs, internships that fit along with it. So check that site, and again, follow up with us and we can walk you through it.
Thanks for that, Keith. For Annie, when do internships usually occur?
Sure. So I think typically we see most internships being performed in the summertime, whether that be usually between May and August. But we definitely see students who are interning during the semester, so both in the fall and spring. And sometimes we also see students who are interning over winter break. One thing I also did want to mention, if you're interested in interning throughout the fall or spring semester, is check out our iHub co-working space at West Campus. It's a great opportunity for students to intern on campus. We have many employers who are on campus in the iHub, and they're always looking for interns, so definitely check them out.
Perfect, thank you for that. And I just wanted to touch upon that really quickly. My internships that I had in undergrad, I had one in the fall, one in the spring, and one in the summer, so I don't have anything bad to say about any of them. But for our next question, for Corey, do you have any suggestions on companies or internship programs I should explore that previous SHU students experienced, or based on company relationship with SHU?
Yes, we definitely do. I want all students to keep in mind that there have been many students in your major, in your position, that have completed internships successfully and have allowed us to build relationships with a lot of different companies. So no need to reinvent the wheel every semester or every time you want to do an internship. We have so many strong relationships with employers. And prior to COVID, we did invite a lot of employers onto campus for a variety of events, including panels, networking opportunities, and internship and career fairs. This semester, we're still going to be bringing employers on campus, but virtually. So be sure to keep an eye on email, on social media, on our website for announcements for when employers are coming, because we have great relationships with them. And of course, if there is a company that you want to intern for and we don't necessarily have that rapport with, we are happy to work on that for any of our students. And one last piece of advice is, be sure to check out SHU Connect as well, because we have a lot of featured jobs for all the career communities, and we have great relationships with those employers.
Awesome, thank you. So my department requires an internship to graduate. What if I can't get one? Annie, did you want to talk about this?
Sure. So first of all, don't panic, but also don't stop looking. Make sure that what we had talked about before, that you have all of the tools that you need in order to find an internship. So make sure that your resume is approved, you're searching for a job appropriately. But if you're really stuck, just make sure that you are working with either your academic advisor or your internship coordinator. Let them know that you are struggling, because they may be able to be flexible. Don't quote me on that, but I know some are going to be. Some may be able to offer you some project-based learning opportunities, maybe help with a project. So again, if you are struggling, just make sure that you are advising somebody that you are. And then of course, we're always here to help. So if you're really in a pinch, just make sure that you have been utilizing our office so we can help you.
Perfect, thank you. Next up for Patty, does my internship need to actually be related to my major?
If you're seeking academic credit, certainly you have to seek the advice of your academic advisor, your internship coordinator, depending on your department. Most times there has to be some correlation between what you're learning in the classroom to the internship at hand, but nowadays there might be a little bit more flexibility just because our, the current climate that we're in. So I would encourage students to reach out and not assume that it's not related to their specific major. However, no matter if it's related or not, we always encourage our students to explore as many internships as possible, whether it's for credit or not. One thing to keep in mind is that we often see that our hiring managers will post positions and they will select certain majors just because they feel like they need to. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are dedicated only to those majors and will only consider those majors for that particular internship. And oftentimes it's because they don't even know what kind of majors we offer here. So they're just really selecting whatever comes to mind for them. So keep an open mind. If you're a media arts major and you're interested in a marketing internship, go for it.
Perfect, thank you. And then based on my career community or industry interest, what keywords do you suggest I use when searching for an internship? Keith, did you want to touch upon this?
Sure, absolutely. So when you're approaching your search, always think to yourself that flexibility is the key to opportunity. So, for instance, if I'm a public relations or a marketing major, don't only search public relations or marketing. Think of the opportunities within the actual industry. So, specifically, maybe you want to look up advertising, press releases, promotions. Another great tip is to look at some job descriptions and find out what are some of the keywords that they're using over and over again. Those would be the ones that you would find in the actual positions. Additionally, go on LinkedIn. Take a look at some professionals' profiles who actually work in the field. See what you can pull out from there as well. But again, try not to focus on just one specific term because it will definitely limit your results. The more that you can type in, the better they'll be. And again, we're always here for you.
Perfect, thank you. And then last question, what advice would you give to students after landing an internship? We can go around for this one. Patty, did you want to start off?
So the main thing is to know that it's not enough to land the internship. You really want to embrace the opportunity. We often see our students not take full advantage of the internship when it's going on. So when you are actually interning, ask your supervisor if it's okay you set up a couple of side chats with individuals that are in the department or within the organization. The more people you get to know, the greater your network will be. So that would be my one piece of advice.
So my piece of advice for students who have landed an internship would be to be sure to check in with your supervisor. If the internship doesn't allow for a mid-semester review, just check in with them and ask, how am I doing? It's important to have a good relationship with your supervisor because that person could be a potential reference in the future.
And I always tell students, whenever you learn something new, be sure to jot it down. It will be a big help when you go back and you rewrite your resume after you've completed your internship. And like Patty said, meet as many people as you possibly can, and really treat your internship as if it's a long interview. You never know what might come out of it at the end.
And echoing what a lot of us said here today, I would also say to make sure to network. So with LinkedIn, connect with your fellow interns, your supervisors, your academic professors. They work in the actual field. You never know where a connection can ultimately lead you. It could lead you to your next type of opportunity. Also, especially in this virtual world, dress to impress. Even if you have an internship that's virtual or an interview that's going to be done over Zoom or Skype, make sure that you're fully dressed from top to bottom. We've heard a ton of horror stories about people who will dress with their suit, their nice jacket, and then when they stand up, they're wearing basketball shorts. So just always be prepared, think ahead, and I'm sure you're going to make the best of the experience.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. As you have heard, the Center for Career and Professional Development is going to be one of your best resources over the course of your college career. We help undergraduate students, graduate students, and even alumni. By utilizing this department, you will gain both professional and personal skills. Hopefully, you gained valuable information today specifically about the upcoming times and how to grasp internship opportunities. Now it's your time to take that next step forward and use our department to better your future professional career. It is never too early to start. Thank you.
Thank you for joining today's conversation. To learn more, visit shoeconnect.sacredheart.edu.